Morning ladies, and we're going to have a look today at some image building with some stamping. I thought I'd have a play with this stamp set. Well done. I actually got it as a reward, I think, for becoming a silver demonstrator. So my upline Julie Catwell bought me this, and it's been sat there looking at me, and I'm not really knowing what to do with it. So I thought, even though I did pick it, I thought, you know what, we'll have a play. Let's get out and see if we can make some sort of fish tank. So I've been having a, whoops, got a whale on the back of that. Having a bit of a play with a piece of Pool Party, and I wanted it to look a little bit like there's a background there, so I've actually used the birch because I thought this half of it looks a bit like water. Obviously this looks much more like wood, but this is quite like water. And I've picked some colours that I quite like and were stamped, so I thought, well, let's do it properly then. So I'm going to have another little play and just show you how I built that scene up and how I made the decisions that I made. So we're going to start with a piece of Pool Party card, and yep, it's 9 centimetres square. So the first thing we need to do is cut one out. Pool Party, pear, petal, pool. Fabulous. So fortunately I do have another load of this coming because I'm running a bit short. It's very summery colour, that's probably why. And I'm just going to cut that into a 9 centimetre square. I just thought it's a nice watery colour, which is why I picked it. So 9 centimetres by 9 centimetres. Okay, just pop that back. Yep. So this is the sort of canvas that I'm going to use, and as I say, I've used the birch as a background. And I've used sort of this side of the birch. So I've already got it set up on my Stamparatus. My sheet's going all over the place. Is it anywhere near straight? Yeah, nearly. Right. So got it up in the trusty Stamparatus. We do a block that's big enough to take this stamp, but it is very heavy. So I much prefer to use it on my Stamparatus. So I've put it in place, and I'm going to ink it up with Pool Party ink. Now, I haven't even got Pool Party ink here. These are the inks I've used today. So we've got lots of different ones. Obviously, if you don't, like me, have every single Stampin' Up colour there is, you can just mix and match and use the colours that you want on the background that you want. And so I'll dig the Pool Party out, which is over here. So, and I'm just going to ink that up, and like you've seen me do before, I'm just going to stamp that onto the scrap paper. Just going to get the stamping cleaning cloth, needs a clean, so I'm just going to do that gently so it'll stamp down, and it hasn't. Right, there we go. So now I can see roughly where the stamping bits that I want are. So I'm going to put it on this corner here so that I get all that C area, and I'm going to ink up again and make sure I really ink up this time. You've got to be careful with these big stamps. You know, it's quite easy to miss bits, which is I think what I did before. So I'm just going to ink that all up and then press that down. And you do need to be fairly confident you've pressed it down enough, because this piece of paper will move. I couldn't put a magnet on it because I want to stamp all the way across it. So the chances are when I pick this up, it's going to move. As predicted. There it is, nestling nicely on the stamp. So I think that's quite nice. But what I've also done with the other one was I just lifted it up a little bit. Just moved it vertically, and I stamped again without re-inking. I might even move it across slightly so it's got a slightly different part of the stamp. and then I just pressed it down again. Okay, and then if we lift that up, just got a little bit more detail on. You can just about see the fainter bits, and it just makes it a little bit more busy, more going on there. So we'll just wipe that down. As I say, it makes lovely tree bark, but it also makes lovely water, just like the bark. The bark embossing folder makes lovely water too. Just gives you that rippled effect and just gives that background to all your sea creatures. Okay, and then I built up the scene. So I actually started with the reeds along the edge, and I wanted them to look like they were quite near the front, so I've done them in a dark colour. So I've actually done them in garden green. Get it out from my pile of ink that I've got there. So I started with the garden green, and I'll open this up now. Just realised the one thing I don't have is my punch for my whale, but we'll find that once I've done all the stamping. So right, so I'm just going to grab those reeds on here, and I'm just going to bring them. I quite like, you know, all of the reeds on here, but I am going to bring them a little bit right to the edge there. Okay, and then same again on the other side, but I'm going to sort of twist them a bit this time and just leave that one off the edge. There we go. And then you've also got some smaller reeds that you can fill the gaps in with. I'll pop that down there and get the smaller reeds, put them on the little block. So, will they fit on? Yes, they will fit just about on the little block there. Again, going in with the green, and I'm just putting them sort of just to add a bit more detail around the bottom there, and maybe coming in a bit at the side. So we've got another little bit coming in the side there, and a longer bit coming in the side there. So we've got some nice reeds there at the edge of it. And what I was thinking to finish it off, I haven't quite decided if I'm going to do that now. I've cut this out using the hand-penned Petals dies, and it's just a little edge, and I thought I might just put that on the bottom so it's just sort of framing it a little bit better once I've mounted it on its frame, which I've actually used Misty Moonlight for. So then I'd pop that on and trim. Still not sure yet, we'll see. But that's why I'm doing right to the bottom, just in case I decide not to do that. So next thing I thought we'd have some coral. So where's my coral? There's my coral. And again, I wanted that towards the front, so I've used a nice dark colour for that. So I have used Pacific Point. So I like Pool Party, a nice watery sort of colour. Well, as in it's called Pacific, it is quite a blue. So that'd be a dark swimming pool, wouldn't it, if it was that colour? Right, so and I'm just going to add some of the coral. Okay, just to the front there. And a little bit down. And maybe... If you don't know where to put it, you've put enough on. Okay, so I'll just clean that off and put that away. And then the next thing I did, now I wanted some yellow fish, but it's always a, you know, not an issue, but when you're printing on coloured card or when you're stamping on coloured card, it's worth checking first how that's going to look. So I've actually got the little piece I was using here, so it's just a little scrap. So crumb cake turtle, I've got the bumblebee fishes there. I also checked that's a balmy blue jellyfish. And the early espresso, still not convinced on the horses, seahorses there. So that's the first generation, that's the second generation. We'll have a think about that. I may use a different colour for that. Right, so we'll start with the fishes, and we want lots of nice yellow fishes swimming. And it's quite good because you can use it either way up, because they're symmetrical about the horizontal line. You can use them facing either way. So I had them sort of swimming all over the place. So we had some at the bottom, just coming out of the reeds here, and then some more sort of swimming away at the top there, and then I just flipped it over, so we've got a few sort of going over the top there, and then just a few down here at the bottom going this way. So just, you know, ring the changes a little bit. You can have your fish going different ways. And then we added a sea turtle. Now the sea turtle's gorgeous, and I quite like the effect of the crumb cake there, so you can just sort of see, like, it looks like it's a little bit further away. So I'm going to pop that on my D block and just add in my sea turtle to the scene. Now I'm going to add my punched out whale, so I don't want to overcrowd the middle and find you losing your details. So I think I'll still have him sort of swimming out from the reeds so that I can still put my whale. I've got the stamp here, so my whale's probably going to go sort of there. So we want our sea turtle, because we do want to see as much as possible of the sea turtle. Got that the right way up? Yes, I have. So probably coming, might be putting my whale somewhere else. Maybe there. And then have the whale sort of further up. So it's coming out here. Yeah, I'll have a play. They're both quite big creatures, so they're both quite sort of central. In fact, probably actually in retrospect, I should have done the sea turtle first and then the fish. But it's difficult to decide. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? So, right. So that's my sea turtle. Look, you can see his all his lovely shell and his little smile on his face. It's quite cute. And then the last thing, oh no, we need some jellyfish. So I'm just going to pop a jellyfish in the corner. I'm just wondering, I might leave the jellyfish this time. I'm going to move on now to my whale. And then once I've added my whale, I can see if I want to add any more of the sea creatures. You know, it's not a, as I say, it's not an exact science, this stamping. You add and you know, take a break, have a think. So I'm going to stamp my whale on balmy blue card with balmy blue ink. I have to say I haven't tried this yet, but I think it'll give us the different shades, because it's the stamp itself shades, so, and will come out darker on the balmy blue ink, but it shades down to quite pale, so it's quite a solid stamp this. So I am going to get out my stamping pad and I'm just going to stamp that down and make sure that we're covering all the ink there. And I'm just vibrating a bit. I am not wobbling it. Do not wobble. Actually, I like that. I think that's come out beautiful. So you really get the effect there. And as I said before, I didn't get my whale punch out. Just bear with me a second. And whale. Fabulous. Found the whale. Haven't found the other punch I'm looking for. There it is. Sorry about that. Prepared as ever. So I've got the whale punch. You can see it actually punches out quite a lot, and you can actually build a whale using the punch. So this is the body, that's the light area that goes on underneath here. Then we've got a top fin, some spray and an eye. That goes, oh, that's the bottom fin there. So it's really good. So you can either punch out from the stamp, or you can build your own whale using your own bits. So I am just going to punch out, just line him up, and I tend to just line him up and then just gently hold with the punch. Happy with that, and then go. Okay, so yes, I think he's going to look lovely on there. So maybe you could go with a slightly darker blue on the blue. I quite like that. To get some more sort of standard. I like the subtle effect that gives against all the other creatures. So yeah, so he can go there, can't he? Quite happily. And I think I'm going to leave that at that. I'm not going to add any more sea creatures. Go go on as long as you want, really. Building up the scene, but I'm quite happy with that, so let's put away. So I've not actually used the espresso ink, although I have used everything else. We haven't used the early espresso, so I'm just going to stick this down on here and glue it with my multi-purpose glue. Okay, there we go. And then I'm sticking it on there. So it's just a fine line around the outside. And then I've actually gone back to the hand pen suite to actually have the background. So, because I thought with the blue on it, that just defines it separate from it, but it looks quite pretty against the This Is Pool Party that tones with that, with the lines. I was debating which way to go, and I just thought it just, to be honest, you could go that way either, with the vertical lines, but I quite like the horizontal, so we're sticking with that. And then we've got our whale swimming there, who I'm going to put on dimensionals, so he's a little bit closer. And then, or raise up, should I say. So I'm going into my scrap stash, and I think, where is it? There it is. Yeah, that's going to fit. So I am just going to stamp the sentiment. And we used to have a stamp set called Everyday Jars, and that had a sentiment that said best fishes, which I always loved. In fact, I confess to still owning that set, because I really do like the whole set, but the sentiment's just lovely. And this one says, hope all your fishes come true. Hoping all your fishes come true. So, which I think is rather cute. So we're going to stamp that on here. Can I go with the Pacific Point, actually? Because it's nice and dark. There we go. And I'm just going to stamp it at this end. So if you stamp it roughly in the middle, it's straight on the block, so it should be straight on the strip. There we go. There we go. Hoping all your birthday fishes come true. How cute is that? So, and then I'm just going to cut that to size. I'm just going to come in with a pair of snips and just trim that off. So I'm going to use my long scissors. So, yeah, just do that. Okay. So you can have any size sentiment, and I think that just goes nicely there, opposite side to the coral. Question is card base. Ha. Right. I didn't think of that. Right, okay, so we have used some crumb cake. Have I got a crumb cake base? Grey granite before then. No. Nope, I'll have to make one. Right. Do like crumb cake. It does go with anything. And because I'm just making one base, I will just make one base. Normally I make two at once, but this time I'm just going to cut that at 14.8.5, as we always do. And then scoring at 10.5. So we've got a nice book fold card base, and we always fold with the lump in the middle because the card's been stretched in the groove. So I'll just get my bone folder. So everybody who ordered off me last month, more than a certain amount, all got new bone folders last month. So in my Hostess Club points scheme. So in fact, I forgot to order myself a new one because mine's, well, I've had it about 5 years, but it's still, I like them because they're so heavy. They work really, really well and very smooth. Right, okay, so there's my crumb cake base. I'm just going to add on the hand penned DSP to make the background of the front, if you like, and then so that fits. This piece is 10 centimeters by 14.4 centimeters, so that there's just a little edge around the outside, and then I'm just going to pop the fish tank, if you like, just up at the top. I'm not going to bother with the extra bit because I think it looks a bit too fussy and uneven because of the because it's thicker than the other border. So I've just popped that so there's a little even gap all the way around the outside, and I think if I did that, well, I suppose, oh, I am tempted. Oh, what to do? Let's cut it to size and see what I think. So that was 9.5. So if I just pop it in here, so, and I'll just pop it sort of more than 9.5. I need to cut this end first. I don't want it, I want a fairly straight edge, so I want it cut in the cutter, and then if I take it to 9.5 on here and then cut it again. When you're cutting small pieces like this, you should always cut it towards you, towards the paper rather than away from it, otherwise it'll just run away and not cut straight at all. Okay, so what do we think? With or without? I think we're going with, you know. We are. Right, I'll add that in. Just terrified my poor 15-year-old who just came in and was like, shh. And I have got the window open. Sorry about the horns. Don't quite know what's going on out there. If it carries on, I will close it. But it's so warm today. Right. Okay. There we go. Now this bit now, that's 3 pieces of card. And it is card as well, it's not DSP wide. So I'm going to put these on here, but I'm just going to put dimensionals on the bottom of the sentiment. Because if I put it on the top, it will skew it down. So you'll end up with a sentiment that's sort of like that. Let's just shut this window. Right, so it will end up sort of sloping down. So if I just put them on the bottom, it will be flatter. Remember where the bottom is. Okay. I'm hoping that's not making it too dark now. I've closed that window because I think we were getting a lot of daylight. They're still tooting. I don't know what's going on over there. Right. So we're hoping all your birthday wishes come true. Fishes come true. And then a couple on my missing whale. My whale has done a bunk. Ah, here she is. So I'm just going to put... Now, I'm not going to put any embellishments on. That's me done. However, some shimmery sequins maybe, or a few diamantes in and amongst all the coral, or even a few pearls. So there we go. So there we are. So that's all finished. Hoping all your birthday wishes come true, fishes come true. And that's just building up an image. So using different stamps and different colours. I hope you've enjoyed that. As usual, if you, well, yes, as usual, normally, if you comment on the YouTube or Facebook video, then I'll pop you in a drawer and someone's going to win this card. And I'll probably do a little bit of decorating inside as well once we've finished today. Right, so thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.